on camera here too.
Oh, we're on camera.
Oh shit.
Welcome back to the show once again. The Armchair QB show, that is. I'm your host, Bill Reed.
Oh, shit.
Boom. There it is. With me, as always, is the co-host. He is America's counselor, the one, the only, Michael Devine.
What it is.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Oh, just trying to beat the heat. It's hotter than hell out there.
Yeah, it is pretty fucking hot. It is fucking hot. No. Speaking of hot,
Pussies.
we got Stelzer in the studio.
Who let him in here? Ryan Stelzer, how you doing, my man?
You know, I came in the back door like I usually do.
That's what she said. So what have you guys been up to? What have we got going on this week? I see that Antonio Brown on Sunday left again training camp. He had frostbite. He has issues with his helmet. Now he's left the other day because of his helmet. He's mad because they ruled against him.
Angry.
If you're the Raiders, you're pretty pissed. I know the Raiders GM has kind of spoke out about it, but I mean, Stelz, you're our guest.
Gruden's still confident.
I love Gruden. I've been watching. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been watching Hard Knocks.
He's good. He's entertaining. He still sucks as an offensive head coach. I'm telling you right now. I'll put money on it. They're not going to average more than like 21 points a game.
Well, but you got
I had a guy in the office this week say 11-5.
What?
I tried
Stop
not to
it.
cuff him and tell him he needs mental. There needs to be a mental institution involved here.
Dude. No,
11-5.
I mean, let's be honest.
I'll be
and that's
with
within.
Wilson. There's no way.
And that's assuming Antonio Brown is there. And
Doesn't
reports
he'll
are
be
for week
there.
one.
I mean, he ain't gonna go full like Richie Incognito.
Yeah,
Oh wait a
like
minute, isn't he
11-5.
on their team?
He's on their
Oh,
team. Are you
yeah,
kidding me?
so
They
they're
signed
fucked.
him. He's got to serve like a 4-game suspension, though. I think.
Yeah, because he went crazy. Didn't he take like a shotgun into a place or something?
Dude, he's done a
Like,
couple things. He's incognito. He
Yeah.
has not been incognito.
Buckeye, wasn't he?
What's that?
Wasn't Incognito a Buckeye, wasn't he?
No.
No.
I thought he was.
He was a Bill. Incognito.
No, in college.
No.
Where did he go to college?
Not fucking Ohio
I thought there was
State.
an incognito.
Miami, maybe.
Really? Okay.
I like how you just assume the thug went to Miami and then now
Well,
plays on the
what-
Raiders.
What do you want from me? Let's check
Just
it out.
saying.
I don't know.
Let's
So-
back that up.
Yeah, check that out for me there. But no, I mean, what do you think about him? He left again on Sunday.
I love Incognito, honestly. He played in Buffalo for a year or two. He was a fucking beast.
On the field, I'm not denying him.
He's like bully, man.
On the field, I don't.
Bully the kid. This into
Yeah.
submission.
Yeah,
He's a multi-time
Yeah.
Pro Bowler. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a
good.
stud.
Yeah.
It's just, is he a liability off the field? Is he a liability, in the
It
locker room?
reminds me of that guy, that defensive guy in the beginning of Jerry Maguire, where he's crying on the Roy Forreston show. And he goes, "Man, you have no idea what kind of pressure comes with making $50 million." And Rod Tidwell's like, he goes, "Why the hell you sleeping around your wife?"
He goes upset. Why'd you leave the mother? He goes, you don't want to get fail the test. He goes, don't do blow. It's not hard.
Oh
Seems
man,
pretty simple.
I honestly, I mean,
Speaking of that, I
AB,
got the silver bullet with me this week.
you do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think AB. I mean, he'll play. I mean, this is
Look,
what he
Mike,
does.
I got the silver bullet in my hand. I got the American flag shirt
Yeah.
on my chest.
I got Pink Floyd.
Nice.
I mean, I had to do something like that.
Stelz
Right?
over there, he's typing away on his phone, but he's got the old Cincinnati Red
Trying to figure out
representing.
Incognito's strange.
Richie.
He's gonna be-
Nebraska.
Ah.
I think
Nebraska.
he'll be working on this like
He
the
looks like a
entire.
Nebraska guy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Big corn-fed white boy. I mean,
Just angry at the world.
Now what's
angry at the world.
now what's the over under of Stelzer looking up Incognito the whole episode and just kind of making random comments about him? Like, oh, the show's over. Oh shit.
And saying, "Go Buffalo Bills, go
Go-
Buffalo Bills,
go Bills,
or
go
Trump
Bills."
or somebody.
Stelzer
This shirt, you guys should.
Stelzer still tries to convince
over
us.
a bridge today. No, I go to the Reds game.
Okay,
Cut you off.
okay. No, please.
What I just did. So we're going over the bridge, and this African American gentleman, very aggressive with his sales approach, convinced me to purchase a shirt. Great shirt, T-shirt.
What's it say?
It says Trump. It says motherfucking Trump 2020. On the back it says, "I'm the president, bitch."
Whoa.
I'm the president.
I am
bitch.
the president, bitch.
Yeah, and once we marked it down from 20 to 15, you had
You had it. You had to say no.
Once I got him down
You
to
haggled
15,
him down a little bit. Okay.
I mean, is at least some good,
I
like,
almost bought a whole goddamn crew.
and that's at least some, like, really good quality, like, cotton, like,
Or is it
Fruit
like the cheap
Loom.
stuff?
Same that way. I'm sure he spent a solid $1.25.
Well, I don't think Ryan bought it for the quality as much
Yeah.
as what the message was.
Shock factor.
Let's be honest. I mean, that's I'm wearing the American flag shirt today. I woke up this morning, felt cute that I might be patriotic. I don't know. Back-to-back World War champs, it says. It's a gift from a friend, but
Two-time.
two-time. I mean,
Yeah.
undefeated.
Still
How
the
about
champ.
that?
Still taking our lumps. We got a couple
Very
long.
important.
We got some long battles, but
Yeah, it's kind of
That's an important one, though.
America's
We
been
won
kind
the
of
big one.
taking a beating in the sports world lately. I mean, what about that?
Our Olympic team's not looking so good.
our gym,
I
at
was
least
just
our
gonna
girls'
I
gymnast
was
is going to
just
kill
gonna say,
everybody.
The
Yeah.
Pan Am Games. You guys see that fencing
Dude.
guy? He won a gold and a bronze, and he took a knee when he's on the stand. Now he's representing Team USA. I don't understand that.
I don't
Explain to me how.
Yeah.
Okay, it's one thing if you want to do this. I don't agree. I don't particularly agree with kneeling.
Why are you being an Olympian for your country only to sit there and go, I'm protesting my country?
Well, he said something to the effect of, he goes, I'm very proud to represent.
I mean, do the fist. Like, what was it in the 70s? What Olympians? Where they did the Black Panther?
Yeah.
All right, do that at least. But
Colin
you're
Kaepernick
still
in
standing, right?
2017, but
You're
yeah.
still standing, right? But don't take a fucking knee, man.
The
Come
fencer,
on.
he said that he was proud to represent Team USA. However, I'm paraphrasing here, but basically that has kind of been tarnished a little bit by the ongoing racism and I think treatment of immigrants and things like that. Basically, inequality that this
When did
country.
it become acceptable in this country to treat people that should not be here legally?
Well, no, I'm not trying to get into that. I'm
No,
just saying because
I'm not-
he's in a sporting event and you're representing Team USA.
It doesn't make
you
a
should
sense.
stand for the
When it
anthem.
became popular,
That's
like
it.
Jay-Z, all these fucking retards are like, oh, it's popular to
Oh,
coddle these
Stelzer. There we go. Now, speaking of which,
Jesus Christ.
okay, now Jay-Z
Am
now.
I on the wrong podcast?
You're on the right podcast. You know what? You are on the Armchair QB show because
Good
everybody
Lord.
on here, we are all right. We're
Yeah.
armchair quarterbacks.
Fair enough.
We can look back
We
and
are
say we're
owned
right.
in our
Yeah, I'm
own.
slinging
That's
darts
why we're
right
here.
now.
You know?
So,
I am
and
slinging darts right now.
You're going at it, man. I mean, you're just.
I'm slinging
you're a
darts.
lightning rod.
I'm Josh Allen-esque.
For
So like we're playing
controversy.
we're playing like regular darts, and you just whipped out like a lawn dart.
I know.
And you're just wondering, why did it go through the wall? Dude, we're playing fucking regular
Now,
darts, dude.
Mike and I are over here shooting like, I don't know, grenades, missiles. Seltzer's dropping nuclear bombs. Like, hey, how you doing? But, no, I mean, seriously.
All right,
Ryan.
and you're angering the guy.
Who is that? Was that God speaking? He's
I don't know.
angry. Ryan.
Oh, whoa! Stop.
School's
All
out,
right.
sucker.
All right.
So-
Fire alarm.
What do you... So, I mean, okay. Segue a little bit. I mean, you have the guy at the fencing. I mean, let's be honest. We're never going to hear from this guy again. You never would have heard from him in the first place because he's in fencing, let's face it, had he not kneeled on a international stage. Michael, I'll start with you. What is your opinion as far as kneeling or politics in sports? I'm not saying it can't be done, but I don't like it per se because I don't like any politics. But what say you?
That's a good question.
Stelz, I know how you feel, so we'll get to you
it's-
next.
Yeah. All right. I mean,
I'm
I'm
chopping
all
the bit.
right. So
I know you
I
are.
totally understand wanting to use your position and exposure to stand for something, right? And I understand you being frustrated with your country, right? But the way I look at it is, of all these people that are so out there and vehement against it, actually, how many of them are actually out there doing stuff? Because I look at the kneeling, the fisting is so divisive. If your goal and objection, is to bring awareness, right? You want to do something that actually stands a chance of working. And so when you're kneeling and you have so many people that are angry about it,
agree with that.
they're not listening. That side does not want to listen to you. So
And you're a psychologist,
yeah,
so you know what
exactly.
you're talking about.
Yeah, and
You're
that's
not,
right.
I'm an armchair quarterback, but you actually know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
and it's like if you have an objective to do something, then stand the best chance of doing it. It's not the best way of doing it. It's like you do it once to bring attention. Now do the dialogue and get involved and make that it. I just don't agree with that. I think there's a better way of doing it. I understand, but I don't know.
Stelzer, not even God knows what you're talking about, but please, what's your opinion?
It's ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. the way, and ESPN is kind of not a little bit off topic, but
No, we're talking about sports.
Look at the way ESPN has gotten. So the social justice thing has taken over the world, man. I can't even watch ESPN anymore. To be honest,
it really has gotten kind of.
They shouldn't get political.
Like all I want to see is Brewers and fucking Cardinals.
But
I mean,
Really?
But now I've got to see black people versus white people. Seriously,
Yeah.
it's gotten to that point.
It has become
Well,
that used to be the one
sports,
place.
I mean,
it wasn't.
that's old as time, as sports in general.
And you get it. And it's like I understand, but it's like that's the place where I want to go and get away from it and get away from the BS. It's like, and I understand. But it's just I don't. There's a time and a place, and it's just no, man. It's just drama.
It's
it seems
crossed
like,
over.
Well, it's like they're doing it to get ratings. It seems like I know their ratings have been in the shitter. It's like they're doing it on purpose, kind of like what 24 Hours News does.
This guy's job back. 2 years.
Yeah.
Ed Warder was out.
What was he out for again? What was
because they couldn't make it up? That nobody wanted to pay attention to the NFL enough for Ed Warder.
So he didn't say something controversial.
There was a cutoff.
He just didn't get the ratings.
Ed Warder, and then they're like, dude, we're good, but they don't need Ed Warder.
Yeah, but it's true. I mean, it's. So, yeah, it's frustrating.
Well, they had Michelle Beadle, she just got replaced.
She needed to go, too. Aside from the fact that I wanted to fuck her, who needed her?
Well, Jameel Hill, she was...
I didn't want to fuck her.
She was controversial as well.
She's a social justice warrior.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with any of the social justice that she was warring for.
Well, I don't know. I don't really care
I didn't know
what
much
the
about
cause
her.
is.
What did she get fired for?
I think, she had tweeted repeatedly negative things about President Trump, and then ESPN had kind of publicly disciplined
put you on
her
a list
and said, "Hey, listen, stick to the sports. Like let's you're going to alienate the viewers. Let's be honest. Anytime you bring up politics, you're going to alienate about half your viewers because
that's true.
Right. So, Sports Center or ESPN rather was smart and not respect. Like, hey, listen, just. Show the highlights, talk about the games, and but
she kept on with the whole.
It's what's hard now. It's they're starting to bleed over. I don't love it, and it's not that I don't believe in these causes or equality, obviously, but I don't like that that's dominating the sporting event. I don't like the fact that we're talking more about whether someone's going to kneel for an anthem as opposed to the game itself.
If you can fucking throw a dunk down over another man. I'm impressed.
Yeah. No, I get it, and that's where it's just, and I get it. Once it's a ratings thing, and that's what's dominating the headlines. But it should be, and that's the thing that
anti-white is what's dominating.
The thing is that I really, really dig. That's why I love racing. I think so much because it's the one sport where it's purely about who's a better driver and who can make a better car. It doesn't matter your race, doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter your politics. It just comes down to racing, right? You do something good, you get accolades for it. You do something dumb, you get fucking called out for it. You overstep your boundary, you hit the fucking wall, and you can fucking hurt yourself. So it's this really perfect, beautiful thing, and it's a one place where it's a bubble where that will never be an issue. And it's a shame. But that's the way our sports are right now.
No, I mean it's the way our country is.
And
sports can reflect our nation and vice versa. But I'm not a big fan of that. I just I think there's a time and a place. I just don't think that during the country's national anthem is the time to protest. That's really it. It's not that I don't agree with what they're saying.
I can see doing once, make a point, and now get involved and try to do something about it.
I don't. And it's not that I don't support their cause, because I think a lot of the times they do have a good message, underlying message. I just don't approve, or I don't agree with how they go about it. That's it. It's like, you can have a good message, like how you want to cure cancer, but if you run in during someone's wedding ceremony and disrupt it and say, we need to end cancer, and you're like, well, yes, we do, but now's not the time to really... Right, that's all I'm saying, but it's one of those things where you don't want to talk about it because...
It would be a hell of a wedding, though, if you... cure cancer.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's not that it's a bad message. It's just, it's not the time or place, in my opinion. And again, that's all it is, opinion. But, I am the Armchair QB, so my opinion's always right.
Yeah, it's your show, man. You can do what the fuck you want. You're Mike. You're wrong. Your name isn't Mike. Your name is Shithead. Okay, I guess it is for today. It's 30 minutes. Yeah, it is.
What a wedding.
Your intensity is for shit. I saw where Jay-Z and Kaepernick. They're beefing, man.
Yeah, dude.
Over a very similar issue.
Just because they look at him as like a sellout for buying into a team or what?
They haven't called him that, but that's what's being implied. This past week is he signed a pretty big deal with the NFL to. I'm not sure what the exact title is. He's like the entertainment director or some shit. I don't know, basically. What the NFL is doing is the NFL is, they are just trying to do some damage control. And I'm not saying they're necessarily in the wrong or in the right, but, the commissioner, he's just like, you know what? Let's just do this. Let's just do some damage control. Let's get out in front of this. I don't care if we're right. I don't care if we're wrong. Let's try to maybe appease some people. Plus, Jay-Z's a heck of a talent. That's the underlying thing. You can't take that away from him. Right, so I don't know about his haircut these days.
All right, but... so let me get this straight for a second. I think Stelzer's about to really dig what I say. All right, so let me get this straight. So, what's the irony, the juxtaposition of you're gonna have people in hip hop, right? And I love hip hop, all right. But let's be honest. So a lot of hip hop are literally they make their money by advocating like shooting people, guns, drugs.
Well, they'll say that's reflective of their community.
Exactly, right? But and they'll reflect brands, and they'll get endorsed by that. They'll be endorsed by it. So they don't got a problem with that, right? But then you have a problem with a company that is doing what every other company in the world is doing. They rule with an iron fist. They try to make as much money as they can for them. They give up as little as they can for the others. And you guys are still making millions to boot. So it's a big deal when a guy buys into an organization where they do what every other business does, where they borderline treat their employees badly, but then you'll support illegal activity and things that are probably bad for the community.
Mike, I'm going to say this.
I'm just saying it's misplaced. It's like you care.
Hold on.
Democratic Party.
A company that treats their employees badly. Okay, Ezekiel Elliott, who I love me some.
I'm being I'm being very facetious when I say this.
He's scheduled to make $3.8 million this year, and he's holding out for more money.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that he's not worth more money, because based on the market value, he probably is. But what I'm saying is, if that's treating an employee badly, treat me badly.
That's the whole
Take
point.
advantage of me right now. Sign me up.
That's the point.
Send me over, baby.
That's all I'm saying. Treat him badly. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know that you can make... I think multi-millionaires and say you treat them badly.
And I agree.
You might underpay them. I mean, the owners are making way more. You can treat them badly in that respect, but I don't know.
I think here's the problem. I think and I agree. I think I was probably being more facetious than anything. But here's the point, though. I mean, I think they're coming up for perspective, which I do get going. Like, yeah, you're right. We're making $100 million or $50 million or whatever. Yeah. He goes, but if you look at what we make in proportion what the owners make, and we're the ones out here, it's like it needs to be double or triple, right? For it to be fair. And so it's kind of like, it's just like the record industry, though. I made you a millionaire.
It's like any
I made you a millionaire.
The owner's going to make more.
Dude, it's like,
that's why they're the owner.
You see it with any type of publishing. So, all right, I'm going to make you a millionaire, but you're only going to make like 7 or 8% of it. I'm going to make the rest. That's what's happening there. And so, just like they should be pissed off with it when it's their record, they should be every bit as pissed off when, as an owner, but don't do this whole thing about it's so unfair what they're doing when you're making millions of dollars.
What I'm saying. Yeah,
all right, do what everyone else does. Try to demand higher wages. Don't make it about a civil issue, right? So it's just a hypocrisy of like you could be doing so much more of that platform and doing something that actually stands a chance of helping. That's just fucking stupid.
I don't know. I just think that you can't be a millionaire or a multi-millionaire and then complain about how you personally are oppressed. You can complain about other people being oppressed,
and I get
that, but don't tell me that you personally, I have it so bad, poor, because I'm just going to laugh, and everyone else most people are going to laugh at you and say, it's the poor little rich girl, rich boy syndrome. It's like, come on, man, like. Why? Because you have 2 million Twitter followers who are like, you're right.
He had a bad week.
I'm just saying, circling back around the wagons to Antonio Brown. I mean, I get it. He has a helmet he wants to use. He's had it for 10 years or whatever. It's the only helmet he's ever used. And for whatever reason, to make it safer for the players, which the players deserve, the top safety, the league or the powers that be have said, this is not safe.
Yeah.
It's a safety thing. It's not to a screw you thing. It's not to just to get the better of you. It's because
screw you thing.
Yeah, it's because we want to. We don't want you to get all fucked up in the head. Same thing happened to Tom Brady. So it's not even a position thing. It has nothing to do with anything with that. It's just his helmet as well, just didn't pass whatever test they had.
What I understand, like, I mean, look at, like, with UFC, right? Like, with Conor McGregor and all these guys, right? It's like...
What, you mean when he punched an old man in the head?
He did punch an old guy, right?
What the hell? Which didn't faze him, by the way. Did you see that?
I did, yeah. I mean...
Conor McGregor, I mean, he's the man. He's the man, right? Punches this old dude in the head. The old dude looks at him, and that's it. It's over with.
So what's the difference between a UFC fighter and boxers don't complain about, like, oh my God, I was going to get brain damage. It's like, dude, it's an understood thing. They know, right? Yeah. And so that's just where I'm sitting there going, like, why is it that you don't? What is the difference between these two? Like,
because you wear a helmet. Because you wear a helmet.
But you're an idiot if you don't think. You know why you're getting paid millions of dollars. Like, it's.
Look back in the day, people didn't even know that. That's what they say, that they didn't even know that pregnant women shouldn't smoke up until like 1981 or whatever. I don't know, whatever year. Yeah, like, oh, was that bad? Really? You mean the child growing inside of me?
Bad?
Yeah. Oh, we shouldn't be drinking when we're with child. Oh, I didn't know that. Like, I think some people want to be ignorant. I mean, it is what it is. Nobody thinks it's going to happen to them. Like I said, people that smoke, they don't think that lung cancer is going to happen to them. People that have, a history of unprotected sex with many partners, they don't think that HIV or AIDS is going to happen to them. That won't
ever happen anyway.
But that's my point, though. That's why people do stuff, not because they're irresponsible. Yeah, it's part of it, but I think it's this mentality, and you as a psychologist, should know this. I'm sure that people just have that mentality. It's not going to happen to me. It won't happen to me. Not me. Some guy down the street or the other guy or some other player.
The thing is, I think it's why you see a lot of them retiring so early now is because they're like, dude, it probably is going to be me and I'm done.
I think they should have a cap on it and say, you know what, by the time you reach 30, you're mandatory retirement or something. Of course, people will say, well, then you're obstructing their pursuit of happiness. But because there's some guys that are okay, like you're a place kicker. You can play till you're 45 years old.
I think they need to do like like if you look at like snowboarding and skiing, like you'll see like these freestyle competitions and these cats will just like take a bad hit, right? But one thing you'll see is that the helmet will fall apart. Like literally, so it's like a breakaway helmet, so the helmet will like absorb the impact. And so like that's where I think the NFL needs to kind of move over towards, because they have a lot less, chances of getting concussions when you have like those types of helmets. So why don't you move over to something like that? And the thing is, if you know your helmet's going to break if you hit it a certain way, you're not going to lead with your helmet anymore. So
yeah, well, there's always going to be that one crazy guy. We talked about this, where there's always still going to be that one crazy guy that leads with his helmet. He just is.
Yeah, I mean, but how many times did you see that with guys wearing leather helmets?
I don't know.
I mean, that's the thing.
I mean, you got to figure back then the life expectancy was like 56. So nobody knew.
They probably more die from the black lung from working in the coal mines.
Right. After this game, I got to go down to the coal mine. Damn it.
CT, I don't know. I can't fucking breathe.
The canary died yesterday. I'm still down there.
It's not concussion. It's hypoxia.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of the UFC, Michael D, you mentioned to me, and I read it as well. Stelzer, one of your favorites, they have Joe Rogan on the internet. There's a petition to have him be the moderator for the upcoming, eventual presidential debate between the incumbent Mr. President Donald Trump and
doing a hell of a job,
whoever his opponent will be. First of all, real quick, I don't want to get into it. Who do you think, Stelz, real quick, who do you think will end up being Trump's opponent, if you had to judge right now?
Who would I throw out there?
Right now, just snap judgment. Who do you think? It could change tomorrow. I would say, if it was me, I'm going to say Biden. I'm going to say Biden hangs on.
You think Biden hangs on?
Nah.
That's my just snap judgment right now. Mike D, what say you?
It's going to be Warren.
Warren?
Yeah.
Stelz? Who do you think
it'll be Warren. I'm going to go front and say it'll be Warren and Kamala Harris. Harris will be the VP.
Okay.
Yeah. I just think
that's a shit show.
But no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying who do you think will be there?
That'd be a saying. Like, who do you want to face in the AFC Championship? The Patriots or the Jets?
Anyway, so Joe Rogan there's a petition online to have Joe Rogan be the moderator of the debate, the UFC's commentator and stand-up comedian.
Who here listens to the podcast?
Joe Rogan Experience?
Oh, Rogan
is awesome, dude.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's fantastic.
So he'd be good for that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean...
Well, it'll be the theatrics of it will be fucking. Imagine like someone steps out of line. I'd be scared to step out of line. Oh, Bernie Sanders.
Well, the best part too is Joe Rogan's going to bring over a whole new audience of people who like his stand-up.
Oh,
right.
It'd be the greatest. It'll be the highly rated.
And you're gonna have the highest rated debate of UFC fight fans you've ever seen. Like it's gonna be hands down. Because he does a pretty good job on the UFC broadcast, and. If you ever do listen to his podcast or any of his, when he talks and stuff like that, he has political beliefs and stuff like that, but he tries to go down the middle, or at least he's pretty reasonable in generally speaking. I mean, I think there's certain things he'll call bullshit, say, oh no, that's wrong or that's right or whatever. But I think that'd be an excellent move.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what would happen though. I could see Joe Rogan just sitting there in the middle of it going, you guys are both fucking idiots. That's it. I'm going to be announcing my bid right here, right now. He breaks down like, he's like, what the guys wear for their weigh-in, He goes, I'm declaring my candidacy right now, and I'm joining the debate. Yeah, that would be I don't know. I think that would be fucking hilarious. Yeah. So I think it's a great fucking idea. I don't know if they're going to do it or not. Probably not because there's so much money. No, of course they're not.
That'd be too awesome.
I'd invite. He needs to make his own, and then see if they would come. Yeah. And I guarantee Trump would do it. If Joe Rogan on the Joe Rogan Experience goes, "Hey, we're gonna have a debate," it'll be sponsored by fucking me. I think it'd be awesome. I'm gonna moderate it. I guarantee you both would come.
Well, I would tune in for sure. I mean, we're probably going to tune in anyway, but I mean, I would.
I'll tune in anyway. But,
it would make you want to tune in even more. It's almost like the Trump effect. You just kind of want to see. It's kind of out of the norm. It's not, an Anderson Cooper. It's not a Sean Hannity hosting it. It's Joe freaking Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. So let's see. Moving on, and let's see here. Oh, another football news. I see where the XFL has finally signed its first player.
Does anyone actually think this thing is going to last even a full year? Ain't no way.
Well, Landry Jones, the veteran, apparently thinks so.
But who's going to give? Who in the hell wants to watch them play?
Well, you got to understand though. It's like you're at a bar, okay?
You're at a bar.
You're at a bar.
Hold on. You have a choice between the Beatles or the shitty Beatles cover band.
Mike. You're at a bar. You're a single man. You're at a bar. And it's 2 a.m. It's closing time. Okay? So
closing time. One last call for
all the available women are gone for the night. Okay? And you're looking around the room and you got about 6 to 8 women. 6 to 8 women and 6 to 8 women and their looks are, questionable at best. But you've had about 8 of these. Can we mute him?
No, I'm the producer. You have to listen to everything. I'm sorry.
Anyway, my point is, though, you have something, it's better than nothing, right? Football season, XFL is going to start in February. You got nothing. What else you got during that time? What's your alternative?
Dude, I'm not going to watch
soccer?
It. Oh.
You're going to watch soccer? No, you're not. You know why? Because nobody in North America watches soccer.
I ain't going to watch it.
Outside of North America, it's the number one sport in the world.
That's like
inside North America, it's football.
Yeah, that's like saying if hey Mike, the single A, team is on the tube right now for winter ball. You gonna watch it? No, I'm gonna watch Netflix. Yeah, but or Hulu. I'm gonna catch up on.
Well, let me ask you this: is baseball America's number one sport?
No, football is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're taking the number one sport. I know you've kind of bastardized it. I get it. I understand it's watered down. But
put it this way: when there's so many other options to literally watch Netflix, watch Hulu, you're not gonna watch it. You're gonna.
If you can watch some live football with some players that maybe from your
it's
your
like
college team.
It's like why I don't watch the preseason. I don't watch preseason football because
that's because you hate America.
It's the same. I mean, it still. Do you watch preseason football?
I will.
Yeah, I won't. Yeah, I maybe watched the last one, the tune-up, but that's it. I just don't care.
I watched the Bills. They look good. Josh Allen looks like a beast.
Yeah.
FYI.
You know what? Again, we go back. We were talking about it earlier. The HBO Hard Knocks. I've been watching that. I love it.
Yeah, I always love
Hard Knocks. Yeah. Do you find yourself? And I know you're Eagles fan, Bills fan, Bears fan here, But do you ever find yourself when you watch the Hard Knocks, and it doesn't matter which team it is, as long as it's not like a rival team that you absolutely hate, but this year it's the Raiders, last year was the Browns, so on and so forth. Do you ever find yourself, the more you watch the Hard Knocks, the more finding yourself pulling for that particular team just a little bit more during the season because you kind of know their backstory, you know the players there, like I do. As long as it doesn't come into direct conflict with my team and doing well. This year,
it makes you more interested to see how well.
Okay, that might maybe a fan might be a stretch, but more interested. So like this year, like the other night, a Raiders preseason game was on, and I was all in. I was like, yeah, I want to see. The guy with the broken hand, and I want to see.
But that's blah, blah, blah. They make it like a human story.
What's the rookie guy, the guy that broke his hand? Can't remember now. Damn it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's how much I paid attention to it.
But no, you make a good point, though. You do. I mean, but you have an emotional side kind of to it, and you care because it's about making that show, right? Formula One has one on Amazon Prime where it's the same thing. They're following these teams, and even like the teams you wouldn't normally even give a shit about. It does make you kind of curious to see how well they play out. But the only thing that makes it, though, I think it makes it very watchable is that it's about making the show. It's about making the big thing. If it was like making the XFL, it's like, what? You used to play Arena League and you won't give up your dream and it's time to this is your one last chance. Like it's like, come on.
They're not direct competition with the NFL, though. That's the thing. If they were in direct competition, they'd get killed. I mean,
see, my thought is like what would make it interesting is having those guys go up against the former greats. Have like Deion Sanders out there. Have Ray Rice. Have like Dan Marino. Have Joe Montana. Have Randy Moss.
Joe Montana. What?
But that's the thing. It's like have the old guys.
You know who can still play?
Deion.
Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
I bet you Jerry
Randy
Rice
Moss could still play.
Jerry Rice could show up.
Lawrence Taylor?
Maybe not the NFL, but Jerry Rice could show up in the XFL tomorrow, and I think
But that's the point.
He could make an impact.
Yeah, that's the point, is that I would be interested in watching those guys go up against or have them mixed in there. Have like an all-greats team versus like a couple of all-scrub teams. Like have two divisions.
Well, one of our first episodes we ever had of this show, we were talking about the XFL, and I was saying that they need to get, either players that maybe aren't the most athletic or the most, obviously they're not in the NFL for a reason, but have somewhat of a marquee name. Get like I know he won't play, but get like a Tim Tebow, get like a Johnny Manziel, players like that you can. At least,
I would watch that
because you'd be the interest factor.
Yeah.
Colin
right
Kaepernick.
now, if it's just
get Kaepernick, you probably can't afford him, but he might be worth the investment with all the media attention he gets alone.
But that's
people
what would
be talking about him.
That's why I say without having like players that you give a shit about, I don't give a shit about watching guys that are even have to make the practice squad.
Right, practice.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing watchable about that.
All right, here's an idea for the HBO Hard Knocks show. What if they did every year? Because every year they pick one team, right? What if they did it for every single team? Hard Knocks for every team every year. So you as an Eagles fan, why not? So every year,
I wouldn't want them. Cause I'm afraid. I'm looking at it's a weakness. They're going to see you doing things. I would prefer my team not to be on there.
And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about as a fan who just wants to watch your team.
No, I don't think it's good.
If the Bills had a Hard Knocks every year, and they just say they did it for every single team, and you could go on demand on HBO, and you literally just pick your team, and every week, they had different camera crews that went to every single team, and they offer this. Wouldn't you want to watch the Bills Hard Knocks every year?
I want to win.
Yeah, I would. I would watch the Bears.
I look at it as if the Eagles were on it, I would look at their. But that's the thing, though. It's a strategic disadvantage. I wouldn't want my team to be on there.
There are a lot of coaches that don't want, Hard Knocks, at their preseason. That's a fact.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't do that.
I don't know. That's just me, though.
Do these teams get paid for HBO Hard Knocks?
Yeah, I think they do. Yeah.
How much do you think they're getting paid? I mean, I know HBO's got some money.
All I know is that they have to do it. It's part of their collective bargaining.
Oh, so if they get chosen, if HBO goes, I thought you could turn it down.
You either have to volunteer for it, or it's kind of like with the London football game, it rotates. So I think eventually, technically, almost every team will be on it, maybe at least once, technically, but I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, once again, I wouldn't.
Sorry, Stealth, we keeping you up over there.
No, my back.
It's
been a long day for Stealth. Yeah.
Well, he's been yelling at some people on the previous show.
Yeah,
so,
I know. I think he blew his wad on the first show. He's like, I'm spent, baby.
And I'm done. On that note, are we done here, Devon?
I think so, man. Yeah,
a good stopping off point.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your, before we go real quick, prediction on AB? With the Raiders this year. I think he'll be there for week 1. I think he'll do phenomenal.
Oh, yeah, dude, he'll have a killer year.
He might bitch and moan about his helmet and his frostbite.
The Raiders might suck, but he'll have a killer year.
Yeah, the Raiders might suck.
Yeah, he'll have a killer year.
Ryan, what do you think? Antonio Brown, he'll come back. Will he be a good player? I think he'll be a great player.
We'll see how he does.
Yeah? Okay.
50-50.
50-50. But even then, there's only a 20% chance of that. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. He'll be there,
At
though.
best.
Yeah. He'll have like 1,200 yards receiving. He'll have like 8 or 9 touchdowns. He'll have a good year. Yeah. He'll play. He'll do his own.
Oh, shit.
He won't be as good as, the Eagles or anything.
Like you said, Mike, bring back the leather helmets.
Hey, Deshaun Jackson will have
Brown's
more.
about to have break out here.
Yeah.
Write it down.
Write it down?
Write it down.
I like it.
Wow. All right.
On that note, we're going to shut this shit down. Check us out
we can.
next week. Check us out on Facebook.
Do we have to?
No, this is America. You got to do shit.
That is true.
For myself, for America's counselor, Mike Devine, for our special guest, Ron Stelzer.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for tuning into the Armchair. What are we at?
I don't know. It's 15?
The Armchair QB
Armchair
show?
QB number 15.
We're on the 614 Radio Network now.
614 all day.
Check us
all
out
day.
on YouTube and on Facebook. Until then, we'll see you next week. Peace.